Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can hear anybody. Can somebody speak? Um, Sky, can you speak for me? Okay. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Let me turn on my live on. Um, start. And we're live on IG as well. Okay. And I think, let's see if the Facebook one is going, if I need to do something. Guys, bear with me. Thank you for joining early. Um, this is my very first time doing the podcast. Um, I'm very excited, but I'm also learning a lot. Let's see. Copy, streaming key. Let me try to post this one just in case some people are trying now to go on the live. Okay. Are you going live now? Now. Okay. Um, I'm not sure what else I need to do.
You are live already.
Am I live on Facebook too?
I don't know. I can look.
Okay, because I don't know if I actually have to go make it happen. Let's
Should
see.
be automatic.
It should be. I Polytalk. Do
I'm on a live.
done. Okay. Go live. Okay. Okay. Apparently YouTube doesn't want to use my webcam. It wants to use the regular camera. Okay. All right. I think I can't see the Facebook one, but I I am hoping it is live. Let's see, go live.
I see it.
Okay, it's live.
I
Okay.
see.
All right, perfect. Now we are everywhere. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Oh my God, 5 minutes have already passed. My name is Mitou Charles, for those who don't know me. And I have my guest, Sky, with me tonight. She's a friend. Um, and tonight we are going to touch base on polyamory. Now, this podcast came about because I've been getting a lot of questions about polyamory. Um, and I just wanted to answer those questions. Now, my friend Reggie invited me on his platform on Haitian Freethinkers a few weeks ago, and we ended up doing two shows because people wanted to know more about polyamory. And then I did another show, a live on IG with Season Brand. And that was like 2 hours long. And literally, I felt like I answered all the questions I could. So, with all that, I was inspired to start a podcast for everybody, but especially my Haitian community. So Sky and everybody else who does not speak Creole, as you are here, I will probably go back and forth with a little bit of Creole. I think for now, most of the podcasts will be done in English, but I will also address certain things in Creole. But don't worry, everything will be addressed again in English because I want to include my community because in the Black community, in the Caribbean community, especially in the Haitian community, there are so many topics that are off limits, that are taboo, and I would like for us to start having conversations about them. And just because you're having conversations about them doesn't mean that you're going to adopt whatever following, whatever teaching, whatever belief it is. It's just for you to be aware and for you to understand how other people are living, where they're coming from, how they're feeling, just knowledge in general. So that's why I wanted to start this podcast. So this is our very first episode, and I'm very excited. We are live on Instagram, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on YouTube. So share the live, invite your friends to come participate with you. If you have questions, make sure to put them in the chat. Um, and then if you want to come on screen, I would invite you to do so. I can have many guests on screen at the same time or individually. But tonight, my special guest, thank you, Sky, for being here. Thank you for saying yes. Naturally, I felt like you were the right person to be the first guest on the show. Now, just a quick background of me and Sky. We dated the same partner, I guess for me at some point last year, and we met through him. We're just gonna call him Jay, okay? Because we don't necessarily want to tell everybody's name out here yet. But so we're gonna call him Jay. So we met through Jay. She came to one of my shows at Cat's Cafe, and instantly I was drawn to her. She was so beautiful, great spirit, and then we just ended up connecting later, and we talk. We can go long periods without talking, but when we talk, we do talk a lot. So, Sky, without further ado, I would like for you to introduce yourself to our audience, and then we'll continue from there. Give us a little bit of background.
Okay. Hey, you guys. My name is Sky Juice, and I am a vegan chef here in Atlanta. I, in terms of polyamory, I have been poly my whole life, in my opinion. However, I have been actively living polyamorously for the last 6 or 7 years now. I was in a monogamous marriage, and everything previous was monogamous, faithfully monogamous. And it never really felt 100% right. I followed Kenya K. Stevens, Juju Mama, about 10 or 15 years ago. I don't think Facebook even existed when I first heard about her. And when she started talking about 50% of divorce, 50% of marriage end in divorce, and a lot of the things that monogamy doesn't address, it just clicked and made sense to me because I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And so it took me probably 15 years to really be comfortable with coming out as poly. and polyamorous, what have you. And a lot of it is about educating myself and re-educating myself and coming through a lot of stuff that I was raised in to believe was the right way to be, to live. And the way I feel right now is I wish I had this information from the beginning, from like a teenager, so that my adulthood would have been better because I'm happier now in relationships and in love than I've ever been in my life. So that's where I am.
Thank you, Sky. So, welcome again, everybody. Hi, Javelin. Hi, Claudia, Reggie. Thank you, guys. Yes, Reggie, it's definitely different being the host. Um, but we are here to have just a normal conversation. So, tonight's conversation is not going to be overly structured. Basically, we want to explain what polyamory is and different umbrellas that polyamory may fall under, and explain certain dynamics that we are familiar with. And then we'll just open the floor for questions, and we'll share some life experiences. And you know how time flies, so we might be out of time by the time we do that. So, um, Sky, I don't know if you wanted to talk of the basic of polyamory.
Um, so people have asked me that question many times, like what is it? So I'm gonna use my own words. Polyamory is a love style comparable to monogamy. Monogamy is loving one person, one romantic relationship with one individual. So it's just two people. Polyamory is loving more than one other person. So it could be two, three, four, 10, 20, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Um, so it's multiple loves, multiple romantic loves.
Yes, thank you for that definition. And if you guys want, you can also Google the term polyamory, and in in a nutshell, that's what Sky described. On Google, on Wikipedia, it says polyamory is the practice or desire for romantic relationships with more than one partner at the same time, with the informed consent, keyword consent, of all partners involved. Um, because we have been asked many times as polyamorists um, if it's a form of cheating. People can't understand how you can say you love more than one person, because apparently our heart is not equipped to love more than one person.
Hmm.
However, they tell us that, when you have several children, you do love them, you must love them unconditionally. You love so many different friends, you love so many different family members, you love a bunch of people, but somehow when it comes to romantic partners, it's a big fuss, and nobody can comprehend how you can love people in that way. So, what do you say to that?
I
Sky?
well, so basically, the way I feel about that is I majored in sociology in school, cultural anthropology and sociology. And from that perspective, that thinking, there's a few lines of thinking that are just socially created thoughts, right? So monogamy is a socially created way of living. It was just created where people picked a partner, one person. I mean, for a lot of reasons it makes sense in terms of getting a house together and, combining one bank account with two people instead of four. There's a lot of reasons why monogamy makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a social creation. And just like polyamory is a social creation as well, right? But it works. It works for those who want to make it work, you know. It's neither one or better. There's no better. It's the individuals involved. Polyamory relationships fail just as much as monogamous relationships fail, or prosper, either or. So, um, in terms of being the ability to love more than one person, a lot of people say, well, it's impossible. You cannot romantically, you can't be involved. And I'm just thinking, like, where does that come from? Like, why would that even be a thought, that you cannot, like, it's absolutely impossible? Where do people come up with that? I think they come up with that because that's what they hear.
Exactly,
They hear
because
that. They never experience it. And then when they do, they're shocked. Their bodies goes into shock. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
yeah.
Well, also because when we look at our culture that we were raised in for monogamy, they always try to demonize also the second person that somebody may have feelings for. Oh, you're not important, you know. Or let's say, for example, I know many people who are married and have had mistresses for a very, very long time. I'm talking like over a decade, right? Now, you're going to tell me that that person is not important,
Not
that they don't
significant.
love, yeah, they don't love
Mhm.
that person because why? You have a ring on your finger, because society tells you that you are the only thing that matters. But why is it that this your husband, I'm going to say your husband because generally, I'm not saying the men are the only people cheating out there, but generally, you know, when
Mhm.
the man has another girlfriend outside the wife, they people always try to be like, oh well, he always comes home to me at night, or as long as he comes home, I don't care what he's doing out there, or you are not important, or you're just a piece of ass for him, or you this, you that, like basically trying to lower that person's standard or
Their
significance, should I
status,
say.
lower their
Yes,
status in society.
right.
Even him having a second piece of ass is a reality. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And the fact that people think it's okay, to be satisfied with one sexual partner for the rest of their entire life till they die sounds like they're eating spaghetti for the rest of their life until they die. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
how delicious is that? That spaghetti tasted good on the first day. I Yeah, give me something else to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, but folks they put a lot of value in that one meal. Like, that's,
Exactly.
and yo, after a while, I pass me on the meal, because you got to bring me more than just that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
a lot of people put, when they start hearing, it's so funny how, um I actually, me, I actually love having this conversation specifically with monogamous people who just, it blows their mind. They are
Hmm.
blown away, but they're intrigued. They're so intrigued because it makes sense to them. And I'm sure they've had feelings, and they've had thoughts, and they had feelings for people, and it blows their mind. But then in reality, they're like, I can't even imagine it in practice. What about jealousy? Aren't you going to get jealous? Don't you get jealous? What if someone gets jealous of you? What if you actually fall in love? What happens now? Where are you? And
Yes.
I'm
So,
always I'm always ready for the conversation. So,
because apparently there's so much that cannot happen when you love more than one person. You know, it's like, what happens if you fall in love, like you said, Sky. But before we touch into that, you know, what we want to point out is we're not here trying to convert anybody. We just want you to know there are choices out there, because so many people are miserable in their relationship, not just marriage, in relationships altogether, and sometimes it's because there's a need for something else. They're not necessarily wanting to part ways with the person that they're with. They just want something more. Like personally, um, I always tell people polyamorous polyamorous is who I am, not just something I do. I
Mhm.
feel like I've always been like this ever since I could remember. When I was a teenager, I remember having boyfriends, and I never felt that feeling of, oh, I don't want anybody else to look at him. I don't want anybody else to have feelings for him. It actually made me very happy, give me a sense of confidence as well, that, oh, somebody loves this person, so obviously this person is a good person if other people like them. So that was always my train of thought. And then when I was in my late teens, I got into a relationship, very serious. We were together for a while, engaged and all that stuff. Things ended up not working out. I've made my fair share of mistakes in that relationship. And when it ended, I ended the relationship and always had regrets because of the way things ended. I When I think back now, it's kind of like, oh, the immaturity and also the ignorance as far as what I wanted, and also wanting to conform to societal rules. That's what made me end my relationship. But also, that person was definitely more, as not as open as I was at the time, like our mind frames, but he was definitely close to, how I thought. And then later on in life, I ended up getting married and realized, yeah, this is not it for me. It's like, I'm not saying I didn't love the person I was with. It was just like I wanted more than what I had at the moment, but I didn't know how to put it out there. I did talk to my partner about it then. I was shut down very quickly. Talked about it again, shut down again. Then I was left in a state of confusion, not knowing what to do, and how, like, what is happening? What is this that I'm experiencing? Um, and finally, later on, I think it was either after my separation or still during that time. I can't even remember. Things are kind of fuzzy right now. But I talked to a friend of mine, just talking because I could not stop talking about it either, like what I envisioned for myself.
Mhm.
Even though my partner did not want to hear about it, but I was talking to everybody that I could about it to see if anybody felt the same way I did, or if anybody understood me, where I was coming from, because I kind of felt trapped. And then he ended up pointing me in the right direction. He's like, I think I might know what you're talking about. So he invited me to a group on Facebook, and finally I was like, this is it, this is home, and
Mhm.
started learning about it. I had to do a lot of work myself, reading a lot of books. I listened to some podcasts,
Mhm.
followed some people, and then I realized, yes, this is it. This is what I've
Mhm.
always been talking about. I was so excited, and I'm always excited. That's why I kind of want to talk to people, have conversation, um to kind of let people know there are options out there. And unlike me, I wouldn't want somebody to be in the dark just because they could not they did not know where to go or who to talk to. It's saying that somebody's trying to get the live um into the studio. Now, guys, I'm still very new to this, and I'm trying. And I think if you can't get into the studio just yet, because we're not taking questions yet, you can also go on the live on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, it's Poly Haitian Hottie. And then on Facebook, it's just under my profile, Air Me Too Charles. You can see me live, and you can join the conversation until we're letting people in the studio to ask questions.
Okay, someone just texted me and said they cannot get in. The studio is full. So I'm gonna send them to the YouTube page.
The YouTube and the Facebook. Yeah, because I think we can only get like 10 people, but it's live on YouTube right now. Um, and on Facebook because I can see it. Um, so if you guys want to go on the
Someone
social
texted
media.
me and said, "People can't hear me, just you."
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. These are the little things that we are working out. It doesn't show where I have control over your stuff, but I can hear you. Let's see. I wonder if it's just a couple of people. Reggie, if you're listening, can you tell me if you can hear Sky? Okay, I have a private chat. I can. They said they can hear both of us. Can
Okay.
only see you, not her.
We can hear both.
Um,
Okay.
yes. Somebody said, okay. On YouTube, they can only see me, not you. Huh, now I don't really know how to work that one out yet. I'm gonna have to wait on that one for the next session to figure all these little kinks out. Thank you, Kevin, for letting us know. Um, but yeah, so those are things that I would like for people to know. Yes, they say they can hear us both. So it might be on that person's end. Okay. Um yes, so just like polyamory can be a choice for some people, monogamy is a choice, but you should not be shamed into anything. You should not be pressured. um Okay, they said they can see the both of us on Facebook. You should not be pressured into any kind of dynamic that you are not comfortable with. Now, we did say we're gonna brush on that different dynamics. So earlier, somebody said that, oh, basically polyamory is a big orgy. So that's why a lot of people always think about threesomes and orgies and things like that. So I'm gonna let you speak on that just a little bit, Sky, if you were to elaborate
Um,
on that.
I mean, it can be, but I mean, every individual carries their love, their love
Hey,
life
K
the way they
Foss.
want to carry it. Um, they, some people are very sexually motivated. Some people are very love oriented and they love the romance and the abundance of love, more so. I mean, you can have partners that, hit it and quit it. You can have a partner that is a cuddle buddy and it could be asexual. You can have a partner that is, I mean, you just name whatever type of relationship you want, you can have all of it. So, you can be a swinger too. I mean, that's not necessarily falling under polyamory, but it does
Mhm.
fall under ethical non-monogamy, which is the umbrella term for um, it's the umbrella term for what all of these different like ways of living fall under, polyamory being one of them.
Yes.
I would probably go under the guise that polyamory is really for the lovers. So
Yes.
I would say that the folks who really claim polyamory really fall in love,
And are
really,
looking for relationships
yeah, they're
for the
looking
most
for
part.
real, legitimate multiple romantic relationships. Some people are E&M, ethically non-monogamous, and polyamorous. I fall
Mm-hmm.
under that more so
Mm-hmm.
because I can have a poly relationship and an E&M relationship,
Yes.
um, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think what we need to do is kind of explain for people. So, the way I like to explain it, to just put it plain and simple, you have monogamy over here and you have non monogamy. Now, monogamy is just monogamy. Technically, this is one on one. That's it. No open anything, no nothing. This is me and you. That's just the two of us, and that's it. Then over here we have non-monogamy. Now under non-monogamy, you have people who are open to their partners having sexual relationships with other people or sexual connections with other people, but they don't want any feelings involved. Now, ask me why they think that's always possible. You can't control how you feel about people because as you hang out with people, as you spend time, feelings can develop. I'm not saying feelings always develop, but they can. So those are the people in open relationships. You have those people, they're open to um, being with other people or their partner being with other people sexually, but they don't want any love or feelings involved. And then uh, you could have polygamist people or people who marry different, just several people. So you have uh, polygyny that a man marries different women, and then you have polyandry that a woman marries different men.
Multiple men.
Yes. Now, it's not very talked about when it's the woman because we know how they usually qualify women that are with different partners. But that's pretty much it. And then you also have polyamory. You have swingers. Swingers are kind of like couples who are open to um, singles or other couples swapping partners. I mean, we've seen like a PG version on TV, right? Swapping wives or whatever, something like that, where people were going to each other's houses and fixing their families, whatever. Did
Cleaning
that?
their houses.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's kind of like that. People can swap, do full swaps, or be with other people, singles, and all that stuff. And then you have polyamory. I'm not saying those are the only dynamics, just a few that we are gonna mention. And then you have polyamory, which are the people seeking meaningful relationships. Now, as a polyamorous, I can also choose to be a swinger.
Mhm,
If I want to, I can
mhm,
choose to date casually. That doesn't mean that I'm always seeking relationships
mhm.
all the time, because we all go through different phases in our lives. We evolve, we're doing all that. I went through a phase where I just wanted to date casually, so I went on dates. I did whatever I wanted to do, and that was it. And then I moved to a different phase to where I want meaningful relationships. I want to fall in love madly. I want people to fall in love with me. I want to daydream about you. I want to just do different things. Um, so it's not always a big orgy, although polyamorous people can go to an orgy just like everybody, just like a
Yeah,
monogamous
monogamous
couple
people.
could
Yep.
go to an orgy. It's pretty much what you want it to be. And that's the beauty of polyamory itself. You can set up your relationship, you can make it what you want it to
Whatever you
be,
want.
right? And what you and your partner want it to be. Don't worry about what everybody else think it should be. It's what you and your partner want it to
Want.
be. Somebody asked, is it possible to have a monogamous poly relationship? Yes.
Yeah.
You have people who are monogamous who don't mind being with people that are polyamorous, which means they're not interested in seeing anybody else and sleeping with anybody else, but they are also fine with their partner
Doing
um,
so.
doing whatever, being in other relationships outside of them. Yes, it is possible. Now, not my preference, because I feel like there's always some cultures that will always come up, the things that they always tell you that will keep coming up. Just not my preference, but it is possible. And I'm sure some people have been successful in those kind of relationships.
Yeah. I think that I have been in those types of relationships already. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend them because I feel like, when people start compartmentalizing their life, it's almost like you're living a lie, right?
Can be a whole
And
mess.
yeah, and the fact that, people are like, I don't want to know.
Right.
I don't want to know. I don't want you to tell me. And the fact that you're open to like oblivion and just having this like fantasy that a part of me doesn't exist is to me absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because part of my daily life is so amazing. Most of my daily life is so amazing. I want to share it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Guess who I saw today? Guess what I did? Guess where I went? Guess what I ate? Guess what? And for the fact that I gotta omit parts of my world because a person doesn't want to know is
Mm-hmm.
trash to me. I just cannot, you know, I can't agree. I was dating someone who didn't want to know and didn't want the part that makes it difficult is they were basically holding out. They were waiting for me to make a decision at some point um that I would, we're going to fall in love and we're going to
Just the
be
two of us.
it's just going to be the two of us. And I was like, why? I mean, this is how you met me on day 1 and this is day 365. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you don't know what I do when you're not around because you don't want to know. But the truth and the fact is, that's not going to change. And the fact that you're waiting, let's just stop right now because, you're living a lie. You're living a lie. And you're forcing me to like live a lie because I cannot be myself.
Exactly. It is definitely hard.
So
Now, again, it's a choice, um, but just know what you're getting yourself into. Reggie said, people are afraid this is the norm. We play roles. This is why people are so amazed when someone can be free and brave. Yes, people ask me all the time, um, oh, like, do people know? Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not out there advertising it necessarily, but at this point, I actually feel like I'm advertising it just because I'm trying to put the word out there and let people know there is support, there is a community, and there's help if this is how you're feeling. But at the same time, I am not hiding this part of my life. I lived in shame for quite a bit just because, I was. Um, I was led to believe that I should be ashamed of myself for even wanting somebody else or, thinking those thoughts. But no, I speak freely on it. I'm always like, I call myself an advocate of polyamory. I love talking
absolutely.
about everything polyamory. And I love talking about sex as well, not just polyamory. Like, those are the things I am passionate about. And those are the things that people typically are afraid to talk about because, oh no, you can't talk sex, especially when you're a woman. You cannot be sexual. You cannot talk about anything that is not ladylike. So yeah, it is the norm, unfortunately, but I'm hoping at some point, I don't know if it's going to be my kids generation or the next generation after that, but I'm hoping we're going to get to live in a world where certain things that are normal can be talked about openly.
Well, someone posted, how do you guys deal with jealousy? Is it okay to be jealous? You want me to hit
You
on that?
can, well, okay. So I'm gonna say something on that quickly because I know you probably have a lot to say. I so jealousy is it's a normal feeling, right? But I always tell people you gotta dig deeper into jealousy. Why are you feeling jealous? And also, just because we are polyamorous, we don't stop being human. So there are some feelings that we're still gonna have. I don't consider myself a jealous person. Now, I have had several moments of jealousy where I felt like I was neglected. Those are typically the
Hmm.
times that
Hmm.
I would feel jealousy come up. But it's not necessarily because, oh, I don't like this person being with my partner or stuff like
Hmm.
that. It's okay to be jealous, but it's on you to figure out why. What are those feelings? What are the true feelings of jealousy that I'm experiencing? that I'm experiencing, because it could be for many reasons. I am not an emotional person in that sense. Like when I feel things, I sit with my feelings first. I'm not the type to blow up. I want to sit with my feelings to figure out, is this valid for me? Is it really this person? Is it on this person? Did they truly cause how I'm feeling right now? Or am I just feeling this as a result of some past trauma, or some guards that I have up, whatever may cause the feeling. So jealousy is just the same way. Whenever you're feeling jealous, you have to identify what is making me feel this way, and what is it that I'm feeling in the moment. And then you can address it with your partner, and so you can have a conversation about your needs and stuff like that.
Pretty much. So here's the thing. When you start talking like that, this is what I think about with most folks, right? Polyamory tends to be a kind of, and it might sound a little crass or what have you, but polyamory is an intellectual way of loving, right? Because a lot of folks let me be straight up. A lot of niggas I know can't get down with this shit. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers cannot have a conversation about love style. Okay.
Exactly.
They ain't getting down with that bullshit about how you feel and all this crap. They are not, they're gone.
They're not ready for it.
They're not ready. They're not developed. They're not cultured enough to have a damn conversation about loving more than one person. That motherfucker is gone. You understand what I'm saying? However, they're not. There's honestly, people say that polyamory, y'all sound like y'all are evolved and all this stuff. The fuck we are. We are great. We are evolved. I'm sorry. It's just a fact, because the brothers that I talk to that are less evolved, and they just like, girl, you fine. I want to talk. I want to holler at you. Okay, well, let me give you some pointers before you proceed, because I'm not the regular, grits girls raised in the South type girl. Okay. And I can't, when I can't even, when I say the word polyamory to some of these brothers out here, and they go, what?
Yeah. Right.
I
don't like sharing my woman.
Yeah, I don't even continue the conversation. As soon as I see the reaction, I'm like, oh, I was thinking of a sauce I'm about to make. It's called polyamory. I just changed the subject because I don't really have time to go into something that folks don't want to research their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
if you don't want to do a Google search, and you don't want to like read a book or watch something, because this is like living this way. This is like a whole different way of thinking. You know what I'm saying?
You have to unlearn all the stuff that you learned previously.
Yeah, like you have to do some research to live this way, because it cuts everything we've been taught. Most people in our age bracket, we all grew up the same. Mm-hmm. Our parents said, find a husband and keep it moving. Like they didn't say, well, maybe you should have a few partners. Mm-hmm. My mom didn't say that. Exactly. Okay, so back to the jealousy thing. Here's how this is how I look at jealousy. I actually like jealousy in the respect of, if I ever feel like a jealous vibe, the toxic jealous feeling, like, oh, it's an indication to me that I'm really into that person, because it means I want to spend more time with them, and they don't have enough time for me, and they're probably with what's her name and such, and they're telling me like, oh, I went out with what's her name again? It was awesome. And we, oh, she was so fun and beautiful and da da da. And I'm like, you telling me all this crap, and I'm really the one. I'm like waiting for, when's my day? You know what I'm saying? So that's, for me, an indication. It's an indicator to me that I'm really into that person, and I really appreciate that feeling. However, I think we've been taught growing up that jealousy is a bad feeling to have. And what happens is, when people say jealousy, people really don't think of the emotion. They think of the action. They think of jealousy and action. They think of jealousy as, like, don't fucking talk to my, how people act when they're jealous.
Yes.
That's not what jealousy is. That's reactionary. Jealousy is it's a feeling. And if you're cool, no one would ever know you're jealous, because like I could be jealous and I'd be smiling, I'd be talking, I'd be normal. No one would know I'm having a reaction to the feeling, because I think people have been taught to react negatively in our society. That's also a social
Exactly.
construct. So, is it okay to be jealous? Of course. Jealousy is a natural, it's anger, it's joy, it's just part of our emotional makeup. So yes, it's okay to be jealous. Jealous is, but in polyamory,
We learn to deal with it differently.
yeah, polyamorists have books on jealousy. And
Hmm.
I've read in all, I'm sure you have read in all the groups, like, oh, my partner is out with such and such and I'm having a jealous moment, how do you guys deal? And then you read everyone's
Comments and
comments. For me, I don't have those feelings. If I have a partner that's out with somebody else, I don't even feel no way, because I'm busy doing me. I got
exactly.
99 things to do. I got other people to talk to, call, go out with, work, kids, home, cleaning, cooking. I don't
That's
even
so
think
much.
about, yeah, there's so many things. I'm not thinking about that for 1 second. Not
How about the fact too that you don't have to entertain that person every single time they need something? You're not the only person they have to come to when you have a bunch of other things. Not that that person is not important, because monogamy always told us that, your partner, whenever they need you, you should always be there for whatever they need you for. Don't worry about what you got going on for yourself, but if they need you, you should drop everything. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it should always be like that. Yes, you definitely can call on me if you need me. Depending on what it is. If it's a priority, yes, I will drop everything and come to you. If it's an emergency, it's a priority. But just because you're feeling like, oh, I just need to spend some time with you. Well, I gotta take care of the kids first. So how about we take a rain check on that? How about 3 hours later? That kind of stuff. But a lot of times in monogamy, we are not allowed those things either. But as you were saying, like, we have so much to do, and we have so much to talk about. That's why I'm kind of happy we're
I
doing the
know.
podcast. So every time we do the podcast, I don't want to say every week yet, but every time we do the podcast, there's going to be more and more stuff that we would talk about to go in depth with.
Yeah.
But in general, it's like, you're happy. We call that compersion. Typically, you're happy for your partner to be seeing somebody else, to be spending time with somebody else, and then be excited about it, that they're spending time with somebody that they want to, that they enjoy. So I don't know. We do have a couple other questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jean said, I understand what you are explaining. This requires a lot of honest conversations between the partners. Yes. Um, One of the basic of polyamory, I feel like it should be with every relationship, any kind of form of dynamic, open communication should be the basis of it, right? And it's just, a lot of times we feel like we cannot even speak to our partner about how we're feeling. So that's why a lot of times people avoid certain conversations, because they don't want the burden of feeling ashamed. But yes, there's always got to be transparency and open and honest conversation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hmm. Is it okay for a partner to propose to you? How do you deal with someone wanting more or want the relationship to go to the next level? You want to elaborate on that?
Well, at first when I read that, I was like, propose to? What are we proposing? But I get that they must be talking about marriage.
No,
So,
I think I want to say maybe what they're saying. It's not necessarily marriage. I think, well, maybe you might be right, but I'm thinking like propose to you, like to open the relationship.
why don't you, the person who put that,
Yes, Rudy.
can you expand upon what do you mean by a partner proposing? Are you talking about
Hi,
proposing
Buzz.
a marriage proposal or what?
Or yes, we want to know what that is.
But anyway, everything can always transform and evolve, but I definitely know for me, I have those basic conversations at the beginning. This
Mm-hmm.
is who I am, this is what, and a lot of it when you're first talking to someone, you're just getting to know them and just to see like what their possibilities are and what have you. And you know, not every relationship needs to go to the next level. Like the relationship escalator is yet another social construct that everything has to go from I meet you to I live with you to we get married and all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, they put marriage
Okay,
proposals. So
marriage
yeah.
proposal. Okay.
So for me, um, I'm anti-marriage. um, Mostly in the respect of I don't really see a value in I don't see any value in being married at all. I I've thought about it for most of my life, and I just don't like the institution of marriage. I feel that it is very much a patriarchal construct where men, I mean, just all of the parts of marriage from the wedding to the what it's supposed to look like. Oh, someone's anyway, I just don't like there's no freedom for the woman. I mean, it seems very oppressive, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on, and you probably can gather why I feel that way and what have you. But I'm okay with partnership. I'm okay with combining bank accounts and creating a team system. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I don't really care. Goals, financial goals, future goals, travel goals, et cetera, et cetera. I actually already have those with partners. So, going to the next level just depends on what really people really want. Me personally, I don't desire, I'm not having any more kids, so that wouldn't be part of the next level for me. I already have my children and that's it. I'm not doing that. Living with someone, possibly. I'm not against it. Um, but it just depends on the paradigm. It just depends. Buying property together, I'm open to that. Doing business together, I'm open to that. Um, but it also has to be under the guise that I also have other partners that I'm doing other things with. So it all has to fit in, you know, our lives in a way where everyone is protected, respected, time. There, all of those factors have to complement each other. And, that can be very difficult. So that's what I
Um,
would say.
I mean, definitely. And just everybody has different beliefs on different things. There are many polyamorous people who want to get married, who want the institution of marriage. Personally, I don't want to get married anymore. Again, for the same, some of the reasons that Sky brought up earlier. Yes, does it have benefits in this society? Yes, but I don't think I don't like what it is set up to be. I don't plan on getting married to anybody. I am, however, open to some committed relationships, like we can commit to each other and things like that. But I don't want to go to the courthouse signing any paper that the government tells me to sign. I don't want to go to church or whatever and have the whole thing. Been there, done that.
What? Are you
Don't
kidding? Oh my
don't
goodness.
don't care for that anymore. But some people still
You
want that, and they
heathen.
are
You heathen.
polyamorous.
You're a heathen.
Yes. So, Rudy has another question. Keep the questions coming, guys. We love it. What if he comes to you and wants to be exclusive, or it could be you falling in love? Again, falling in love. I don't have to be exclusive with you
To
to
fall in
fall
love.
in love. I'm gonna fall in love with Gene. I'm gonna fall in love with Jack. I'm gonna fall in love with Johnny.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
Everybody, right? But I'm not gonna be exclusive with anybody. And I mean, honestly, if somebody tells me that they want to be exclusive with me, guess what? It's the end of the relationship, because that is not in the agenda for me, and I cannot live like that anymore. I don't see myself living like that anymore, because it would be torture. Like, I'd be lying to you if I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be exclusive with you." That would be a lie, and I'm not. I'm not gonna live like a liar. So that would be the end of that relationship.
Yeah,
So.
that's gonna be a no for me. If anyone comes to me with, I mean, they've already come to me with that, and it's usually
Mhm.
the end of the road for me.
Yes,
It's happened many times, and
absolutely.
I used to feel some sort of way about it
Hmm.
because I would get into somebody, and then I just realized this is not going to work. We try to fix the pieces some kind of way, and they just don't fit. And it's sad to me because I'm like, oh my gosh, we made such a good team, but their values. So now I kind of go into it with like a values thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if friends are um more like, for example, the guys that really don't understand the polyamory language, then I go into it more in a friends and lovers type of conversation. That's
Hmm.
more easier for them to comprehend. You could call it friends with benefits, you could call it whatever the hell you want. I don't even care about terminology. But for them, for those types of guys who we're attracted to each other and we want to spend time with each other, we just call each other friends. We're just friends, and we have our relationships, and it is what it is. And for them, it's okay because it keeps them in an understanding of what this is. Um, for some of them, they say like, "Oh, well, I'm having a hard time because I'm catching feelings." And we're just friends. And I'm like, I already caught the feelings. I caught them, grabbed them, wrapped them up, got them, keeping them. They're here, and they try to like hold back their love because they feel it, but because we're friends, they don't want to. They don't want to they don't want to give too much of themselves, of their heart, because I'm only willing to go but so far in title.
Right.
So those relationships have limitations, and I understand that. And that's why I put those relationships under what I call, if I had to classify them, I put them under E&M, because
Hmm.
they know I see other people, they know, the situation, but they don't really understand the lifestyle of what poly is. So um yeah.
Yeah.
So someone said this is not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely not. Because it takes a lot of work. And like Sky said before, a lot of people, they're not willing to do the work. What, you want me to go to therapy? You want me to do some self work to deal with some other things that may have caused me not understanding certain things in life now? No, I'm not willing to do that. I'd rather just live ignorantly about certain things and just keep it at that, because it's easier. It's hard to dig deeper inside of you to see. I mean, because we're I mean, we're a work in progress, and we're always going to be a work in progress, because there's always going to be work to do on ourselves, how you relate to others. The person that you were 10 years ago is not the same person you are today, hopefully better. The way I communicated 10 years ago is not the way I communicate now. I am definitely more calm now. Like I said, I was never an emotional person, like to blow up when things happen, but I'm even more calm now when dealing with issues.
Mhm.
And that's one thing, sometimes when I hear people fight in their relationships, I'm always like, my mind is blown. I'm like, how do you just like yell at each other and things
That
like that? I can't even see myself doing that anymore,
I
because
can't
I'm
either.
not I'm not in that space. No matter how disappointed or how mad I can be about something, we're gonna have a conversation. Hey, honey, can we have a talk?
Sit
All
down,
right.
right?
Yes, this is how I'm feeling. We can talk in normal voice. You can still feel all of the feelings that I'm feeling regarding the whatever's happening, but we don't have to yell at each other. Um, I mean, I had a relationship of like, I don't know, 2 years, and we have never fought. Now, have we had disagreements? Many times. Have we had many talks? Many times. But you will never catch us yelling at each other because we are mad about something that one of us said or did. We just sit and talk about it and then understand where each other's coming from, and acknowledge uh, what went wrong, and then also figure out how to go from there, how to move past that, and how to fix the situation if there's anything that needs to be fixed. And sometimes you just have to agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Um, One thing that the whole poly thing is for me, like, when we talk about at the beginning, the definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing it is for me more so than anything else is freedom. That's how
Yes.
that's my bigger definition is freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it is really difficult for me to like bow down and be tied down. Everything sounds so oppressive, right?
Yes.
However, when it comes to nurturing and catering, I love that's like my one of my biggest joys is nurturing and catering to a man.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, when they initially hear me speaking about polyamory, they probably think I'm like anti-men or what have you, because I want my freedom and my power as a woman. But when you flip it on the other side, whatever man is involved with me is going to be treated like the king, the
Yes.
and he's going to be treated like he's the only king on the planet. He
Yes.
at that moment, while I'm there, he is the king in my life, and
That's it.
I will nurture him with me in all ways. And so don't get it twisted. It is not a male bashing. I hate men. I love men. I'm so loving of men. you know, a lot of people who talk about this whole poly thing, they always think, oh, you must be bi. There's a lot of bi people in this lifestyle. I mean,
Yes.
all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know plenty of, and I ain't mad at that level of. That's another level of freedom. I'm not there personally. I don't necessarily even want to go there. I don't want to be there. I love men strictly.
Mm-hmm.
And every time men hear that they get disappointed,
Because they're like, oh, so I'm not gonna get
their
to watch it with
fantasy,
another girl.
yeah, their fantasy just dies at that moment. But hey, there's other people out here. I ain't even mad. I prefer men who have a woman already or have another partner or what have you, because I don't want the pressure of having to be like the one and only. What are you doing? What's going on? What's up? Are you busy? Can I call you? What can I see you today? Can I, you
Why
know,
didn't you pick up my phone call? Why did it take you like an hour to text me back? That kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like that anytime, I would tell a friend, like, you got to get with a truck driver because they be gone most of the time, so you can just like sayonara. Um but yeah, like it I really honestly I wish I had really opened up. It's so funny because I was married for 10 years, and we at the very, very beginning of the relationship, we listened to Kenya K. Stevens talking. I'm
Oh.
talking, my son is 14. So it was
Mhm.
literally 14. It was probably before he was even created. I can't, 14, 15 years ago, the two of us listened to it. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And from that moment, throughout that whole relationship, I would talk about polyamory every single day. And I remember one day he said, please, 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 please Don't even say the word. Don't say the word. Don't even say the letter. So I was banned from talking about polyamory. And then, you know, I still do essentially love this man. And when I
Right.
decided the relationship, polyamory is so important to me and being free, that was the ultimate end of the marriage because I asked him if he was open to opening the relationship. And he was like, absolutely not. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't. He's like, I just can't. Like, I just cannot imagine you with anyone else. Right.
Right.
And I said, well, I can imagine you. He's like, well, it's different. A man could do, get out of my face.
Right. Right.
So I
That
decided,
part.
so I said, that's it. Like, I'm out of here because I'm not going to be happy. I can't commit to for the rest of my life that you are the only motherfucker I got to be with for the rest of my life. Yeah, that's spaghetti. To me, that was the spaghetti meal. Like, I'm just like, you're wonderful and I love spaghetti, but I want to taste other food. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Other experiences. I want other stuff. So
Yes.
that was
I want other
ultimately
things.
polyamory definitely ended my marriage. So yeah, so I'm grateful. I'm so happy.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Somebody asked, is does polyamory include love of the same sex? Yes, you can love. I mean, there are many uh
ways.
same sex couples that are polyamorous as well. So
Yeah.
yes.
I had a partner who was married and
Mm-hmm.
his wife had a girlfriend and a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So she had two partners, including her husband, who they had 3 kids together. And then he was dating two other, me and another girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we all would get together, watch TV, chill, laugh, talk. It was all good. That's called kitchen table poly, by the way. We're just still
Right.
talking about terminology. Kitchen table polyamory is when people in the polycule, which is those people who are related to each other by association, they can sit around, in essence, sit around a kitchen table and be cool with each other. So like, I guess Mitou and I would be considered kitchen table because we were
Yes.
involved with the same person and we met each other while we were dating him and it was all good. That was really awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so some people are parallel, which is they don't ever meet the other person that their partners are
They
meeting
don't
or
care
dating.
to.
They don't care to. I'm open to kitchen table. I'm open to what they call garden. I don't need to be chilling with you at the table, but I can
Yes.
see you and
We
talk
can
to you.
coexist.
We
We
can
can hang
coexist.
out for a minute.
Yeah, like I can be, in the same building, in the same space with the other partner.
Right.
It doesn't bother me. I'm cordial. It's I don't know if it's rare. I'm not really compersive. Me too. I'm not. I have this I don't care type of vibe. You know,
Okay.
unless it's a rarity like you. Like you are dope. So
Oh,
I
thanks.
would definitely feel compersion with you, but I'm not just openly compersive in the sense of I'm
Getting
feeling good.
excited.
I don't get excited. I'm just like it's all good. Like I'm like indifferent. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right, do your
So,
thing. I'll see
yeah.
you later.
Yep. What
Yeah,
I do.
actually, I get excited, and I'll actually like make suggestions too. Like, I am that person. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, how was it? I want to hear about it. Whatever you're willing to share, you
Right.
know.
Well, what I liked about Jay, let's talk about Jay for a second here, right?
Jay's
Hopefully,
coming in.
I
Yes,
hope I hope he's on or what have you. But anyway,
hopefully.
Jay was the guy that both Me Too and I were seeing. And what I really liked about him was how open he was about what he did and who he talked to. And me and him, we would talk for hours about everyone he dated and all of the conversations and what have you. He was over at your house, I think, and him and I was on the phone talking while he was over there with you.
Right.
I know most people are like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
What are you talking about? Why would he do that? Why are y'all doing that? What is wrong with y'all?
Right. Or he'll come in and he's like, oh, sorry, I was still on the phone with Sky because we were talking and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, how is she?
Yes. Yes. So
yes.
Yeah, so I think to be honest, the way I feel, I think it's similar to you. To be honest, like I know some people say, well, there's going to be monogamous people and there's going to be poly and there's going to be this and to be honest, I feel very revolutionary about polyamory. I think this is the way to be. I think
this is it.
Yeah, this is it. This is the way everyone should experience love. Life. I think people should understand that, sex can be very good. I tell people all the time, if you got to eat that same spaghetti for the rest of your life, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you because I'm just like, yo, I like food anyway. So the fact that I got to eat the same damn meal every day is definitely like,
Sky, you're so wild, Sky.
No, I'm serious.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I know you're kidding. But the thing is, like, the fact that, here's another thing that some people don't realize, right? So they'll think about polyamory. It's like, oh, they think about their partner having sex with somebody else. And they just have these sick, jealous feelings and they feel like insecure about it and they feel shame. They just all the negative, right? Well, there's sometimes people have the reverse feeling. And the reverse feeling is they feel turned on.
Right.
They hear or know or realize that their partner was with somebody else 5 minutes ago, yesterday, last night, what have you. And
don't matter to me.
It don't matter when. They were like, come over now. Get your ass over here right now. Because it's just like something in their mind, it triggers. I think someone told me it's called cuckolding.
Cockholding.
Yes. That's what that is. I didn't know it was a term.
But actually, I heard that cockholding is actually when the person sits in the room and watch their partner.
Is it not also the thought of it?
It's not. I don't think it's that part at all.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, whatever the terminology is, there are people who they hear about it, they think about it, they know it's happening, they know it has happened, and they get so friggin' turned on. They are like excited and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you're fucking crazy and wild. I have to disagree with that, Sky. What do you mean?
With what?
Disagree with what? What are you disagreeing with?
Do you want to come on and talk a little bit, Woodrow, man? Also, let's see if we can bring somebody in to see if they have questions. Who wants to come in? Jonathan, your device is not connected. Chris, your device is not connected. Joe, same thing. Fuzzy's on. Let's see if he wants to join the broadcast and ask questions or talk. I guess he's not present. Yes, I want to talk about it. How about you join the broadcast, Woodrow? Join us.
Oh, we got Fuzzy.
Hi. Hey, Fuzzy. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Oh, I like that voice.
A little flirting going on here, sir.
Well, are
you for the streets? Let us ask.
Am I what?
Are you for the streets?
Am I for the streets? Well, maybe sometimes.
For the streets, I love it. That's how we like them.
So I will say this, Sky. You might not remember me, but a couple years ago we had some conversations for a while.
Oh wow!
and we never got a chance to date, but we did have some talking. We had some talking. You were very busy cooking, doing your chef stuff, which, which was fine. But yeah, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
who are you? Are you dating anybody right now, sir?
I have two partners.
Mhm.
I do. I have
Oh,
a woman who is married. It's been involved for quite a while in polyamory. I've been involved over probably about 14 years myself. Well, we're this iteration of polyamory. And, it started off as opening up the marriage because I am married and been married for 25 years, and we date separately. And then I have another partner. It's a real dynamic partnership that I have that is it's very new and very exciting, and although it is a you have the new relationship
Energy.
energy.
energy to it. I try to be very pragmatic about it and know that this is a beautiful thing that could happen, and try to build on it. And I don't know, should I reveal it? I don't know. Maybe
I think you should reveal. Is the person in the room here?
well, I think I said that I tried to talk with Sky and it didn't happen. So it must be you. It must be
What?
you. She said, what?
Sky again. Another
I
connection.
wait.
This is my
I'm
partner,
confused.
Kevin.
I'm confused.
This is my
I'm
partner, Kevin.
confused. You lost me. I don't get it.
I am actually Mitou's partner.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank
Would you
you.
like to
Yes.
pray? Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. That is awesome.
Yes, yes.
So, what are you sharing with us tonight, Kevin?
Well, I don't have much to share. I don't have any specific questions. We talked very very well about the dynamics. There's so many cues and V's and lines and things that I think what's important is to the communication, and I also think it's important to have boundaries as well, if they're
Absolutely.
important to you. And one of the I think one of the comments that I'll make though is, as you get involved and I'm a polyamorist as well. I want relationship and love. That's what I look forward to. And but the thing about scheduling and making time for you, not only your partners or your family, but yourself as well. It's
Mhm.
that's challenging. It's
Mhm.
very challenging, and you kind of just have to, you know, go with it. You learn from your mistakes. You communicate, and you try to do your best that you can to be that person for everyone. And it's not easy. I'm not going to lie, but what is, even with your own, if you were monogamous and you have things that pull on you between not only your wife and your friends and all that. One thing I guess I would like either one of you to talk about is, we didn't come with polyamorous friends per se. We have other relationships as we transition to this lifestyle that are monogamous, and relatives that are into this Western, you know, monogamous culture that we have.
Mhm.
And how do you relate with that? How do you deal with that? Both good and bad.
Right. Um,
You're talking about the family, the your family,
Family
the
and or
members.
friends, yeah, close friends that maybe you've had uh, for lack of a better term, a BFF for many years, since high school or something, and you go this other path, and all of a sudden, you know, they're not digging that too much, but yet they might be out there doing stuff behind their boyfriend or husband's back or
Oh,
something.
clear. I'm clear on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's easier to lie and cheat than to just be straight up. But um, So for me, from my inner circle, my closer friends and my children, my family, they all know
Mhm.
that I am loud and proud about being poly. Even my coworkers, everyone knows.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't give a fuck who doesn't like it. That's really how I feel about it.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I don't have any problems in that area. I know there's some people that like, well, what if and I don't really like when you are, all over the place and you're out there hanging out a lot and you're going out every night and blah blah. Bye. I don't really have time for that judgment, because a lot of people, well, not a lot, because those folks who ever have the audacity to say something like that to me, they ain't bringing me joy. So, I'm not really concerned by that. So I don't have an issue with any naysayers whatsoever. I rebuke naysayers. So
Personally, I am open with my polyamory, my clients, my coworkers, um, my friends. They all know. Anybody who says they don't know, they're choosing not to know, because it's everywhere. You turn around, it's in your face. It's like, whoa, whoa, why are you posting this? Now, I have some pictures on, IG and Facebook and all that stuff. Now, they think those are my partners. Yeah, one person in the picture we dated very briefly, but the other people are just friends. It was just a photo shoot that I wanted to do. But as far as my family, I don't think they talk about it. My family, they've never, like, I'm talking like my brothers and sisters. Um, I'm pretty sure my brothers and my brothers would be open to talking about it. I have talked about it a few years ago with my sister-in-law, one of my sister-in-laws. My sister, however, she's very conservative. I don't know that she even wants to have that conversation, but she sees it. She just doesn't bring it up. So honestly, I feel like my family, they know, they don't talk about it. I'm not gonna bring it up. If you have questions, I will be happy to answer your questions, and that's pretty much it. But I'm very, very open about what, how I live my life.
me too. Me
That
too.
I
Me
think they
too.
have
Me
a
too.
question. I know,
Um,
right? Somebody has a question for you, Kevin. He
I'll
said,
read it.
okay.
What attracted him to Mitou? Does he still want to pursue something with Sky? Boy, this just got heavy.
I know, right?
Also,
And we do
Uh,
hold on before
my
you
friend
answer
Woody,
that.
he wants to
Hold on.
get in here too.
Yes, in a quick second, Woody, I'm gonna add you to the stream, but Kevin is gonna answer the question. Okay.
so yeah, the it's pretty obvious with me too. If you can't
Guys doing?
see that, I don't know,
Good.
you're dead. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, the attraction, it was, was mutual. And as far as Sky is concerned and myself, I mean,
It just puts you guys on the spot right
no,
here.
I don't have a what I'm always open to is to meet other people of like-mindedness, as I borrow from my wife, term,
Hey, Julie.
and to also have a lifestyle that will other folks that you can lean on. So it whatever comes with me, it definitely helps, Sky, that you and me are friends, and great. I was excited about it. I wanted to make sure I saw the picture, and I wanted to make sure that I listened to the show. I was going to stay on the sideline, but Me Too said Fuzzy, which is my nickname, and grabbed me into to the spotlight. And I will not back down. But of course, obviously, to answer the question, I reached out to Sky, and we were both trying to make it work. It didn't work, but look how Haley's comet comes around. She's around in my space, and I'm around in her space, and who knows what happens. I can't predict that. But
Exactly.
at minimum, a friendship can occur, and that's always great.
Yep.
Friendship is always great.
Yeah, no, and
At minimum.
yep,
Yes.
yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Uh, well, you have a good night, and thank you for participating.
I'll be right over here.
Okay. Woody had something he wanted to add on to our conversation. Hi, Woody. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, how you doing? I'm about to probably be the most hated guy in y'all community. Cause if
Oh.
You can ask Sky. I keep it 100. I'm from New Orleans, so I wear it on my sleeve. So it is what it is. And most things I have this conversation with Sky. We go through it all the time, and I just tell her, you know, I love people, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love people gonna be who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about what's your sexual orientation, gay, straight, or if you're part of the alphabet community or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me because it's funny. I want everybody to be happy because they only get one life, right? You live your life to the way you want to live. But my thing with I say it wrong all the time, and I just don't know, right? If in and me and Sky go back and forth with this, I call it her community, right? She don't really
Mm-hmm.
like when I say her community. I say, she really hates when I say that. But if you having feelings for somebody, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they're poly, for me, just me, I
Mm-hmm.
can't, and I don't mean to sound crad or crude, but again, like I said, I'm from New Orleans, so we say things different than any parts of the world. I
Mm-hmm.
I can't throw my whole feelings for a woman, right? Who's poly, right? Because let's say, hey, what were you doing today? Oh, I was over by, let's just say, I was over by Greg's house today, right? Well, what you and girl, we're doing like me psychologically, being who I am in the way I was, I can't, I just can't get with that. Like my woman was just with somebody 2 seconds ago. You get what I'm saying? I mean, like she said, that may turn some people on, but for me, I can't develop feeling because I know she was with somebody else 2 minutes ago, doggy style, missionary or whatever. I don't, I don't. And for a person who want to be involved with somebody like that, they can't exercise their feelings because they're not built like that. Make sense?
So okay, I understand, but maybe polyamory is not for you then. If you can't stomach
Okay.
that.
I've told Sky that a minute. That's not for me. But I'm just saying, how can a person, if just say, okay, opposites attract, right? Opposites attract. One person could be A personality, one person could be B personality, and they attract. But one person could be poly, and the other person could be, what's the word I call it non-poly, I guess.
Monogamous.
Yeah, okay,
Monogamous.
okay, that.
Monogamous. Mm-hmm.
All right, monogamy. So, and he really likes this person, but he just can't, he really just, he just can't imagine his girl with somebody else.
And what makes you feel that way though? Like, is it because you see that person as a possession? Like,
No,
because
I don't see anybody as a possession. I mean, I guess, like I said, I guess I'm freaking old school. I guess I don't know, shit.
but old
You know,
school, like, let's go deeper. Like, what makes you old school? Is it the stuff that they taught you? Because your woman is not supposed to be with somebody else. Like, have you ever sat with yourself and asked yourself, why do you feel that way? Or is it just
oh no,
because you're
I'm
following
not.
what they told you?
Because for me, again, for me, if a person choose to live their life like that, that's fine. I don't have any hard feeling for it. That's their life.
Hmm.
It's not mine. It's not my life. It's
Okay.
theirs. They got to live it the way that makes them happy. But what I'm saying is, if you get involved with a person like that, you can't give your heart a whole
Then you just don't.
100% because yeah. Like driving to
Pretty much.
California and putting them in a doggone wine bottle and throwing them in the Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you just don't get involved with
You know,
somebody like that because neither one of you is going to be happy in that situation.
I disagree because, and this goes
you
into what I
okay?
had mentioned earlier, is, you know, some motherfuckers just can't understand this poly shit, right? But that doesn't mean that I am not going to deal with them because they don't understand the language and how it works and stuff like that. Because I'd rather be involved with them in some way. To me, I mean, a lot of people, like, to me, monogamy is like all or nothing, you know?
Right,
I don't look at it like that. You know
right,
what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'll take the side dish. I will take a piece of you. If
right,
if I think you're wonderful and amazing, we don't have to have the traditional love affair and the wedding and all that bullshit. We could
right.
have whatever it is we can have. And I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Oh
If I see a person, we get along, we have a great friendship, relationship, call it whatever. I don't care about names and titles and all this
no,
stuff.
right.
I value that person. I will take Sometimes I will take whatever I can get from them because that's their capacity, you know?
I totally agree. I just said that because of him. He said, I cannot be with somebody like that. I cannot get involved with somebody like that. And I'm like, yeah, you cannot. So you just don't get yourself involved because both you and that person are going to be miserable because then you're going to start harassing them about what they did with this person and that all of that stuff. So for him it's not conducive to his beliefs, so I don't think he should be with somebody like that if you can't stomach thinking or even knowing that, oh, you were just with Johnny like 3 hours earlier. And I mean,
It's I think it's crazy. We had a conversation about um she had sex with one, not her, not Scott,
right, right, right,
but we had a conversation. Well, oh, she's with a guy and they having sex, and then he have an orgasm inside the girl. Then he leaves that house 10 minutes and then go by the other guy, and the guy decides to go downtown. Now he got the other guy's fluid in.
well, that's just messy in itself and disrespectful in general. And those are part of any relationship. So I don't know, personally, I those are the conversations I have with partners. Those are things you talk about and negotiate on when you connect with somebody, when you decide to involve yourself with somebody. Those are things that, okay, I guess monogamous people probably would find it weird to talk about stuff like that. But those are things you need to talk about. Some people may not be comfortable being with you within 24 hours of you being with somebody else. Okay, so that's a boundary that they're setting for themselves, and you have to respect that yourself. So if you want to be with that person, are you willing to not be with anybody else 24 hours before? Like, what are you willing to do? Does that really work for you or not? Can you keep it moving or not? Those are conversations. And I ask everybody that I'm involved with, what are you comfortable with? Are you okay knowing that I slept with somebody the day before, or do you prefer not knowing? And of course, as a person, if I know, obviously, if I'm gonna be with two different people on the same day, there are gonna be some measures that you have to take. You can't let somebody come inside you. We're all adults here. Come inside you, and then later on let somebody else go down on you. I don't think that is just because our bodies may hold some fluids, okay, that may transfer to that other person. So I don't think that's very um, nice to let that person, unless they were in the same room and agreed to that or whatever. But this person did not agree to this other person's body fluid. Now, as a responsible person myself, if I'm gonna be with two different people, obviously there's gonna be some hygienic stuff that you
Yeah,
give us. One
that
second,
part.
Fuzzy. There's gonna be some hygienic stuff that you will need to do, regardless whether you were gonna be with somebody. Like, as grown women, we take care of our bodies differently than we did when we were younger. So there's douches and flushes that you can do to clean your body, and especially when you're going to be with a partner, there are things that you do in preparation of that. So I think it's a matter of courtesy, to abstain from certain things when you go in to get involved with other people. That's just my personal opinion. Yes, Fuzzy.
Yeah, I just wanted to uh, chime in as well, and it is about how, if you respect yourself. I mean, this isn't exclusive to polyamory as far as because you have multiple partners. There are people that are monogamous that might not have a single. You might be just dating out there. You're not a polyamorous
Partnered.
person or open person, but you're dating several and you're having sex with other people. So it still is a factor in life, period.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say old school in reference to what we were taught in Western society, you can go back and read. I mean, you can go to the Bible and read about polygyny. You can go to all kinds of accounts where people have had multiple relationships and partners. This isn't something brand new. It's just a as you Sky had said, a construct that has been uh, gaining popularity and becoming more aware to more people. There's a whole group of folks that are out there that are claiming to have this label of being polyamorous, just to have an excuse to have multiple sex partners. and
Mm-hmm.
and and that's, it's unfortunate in the way I approach it, but I'm also a lot more mature. I This wouldn't be possible for me back in my 20s. I wasn't mature enough to handle something like that. So it comes along with your life experience, and it comes along with honesty and respect for yourself and your partners. This is not a game. This is not a pass, a path. I have a whole family that I have to be responsible for, and you know there's precautions that I take with my partners. There's no way that I would want to have some type of issue and not be responsible and bring that upon somebody else. That's just me. So yeah, I just had to chime in and say that.
Thank you. We appreciate your input. And yeah, exactly. Sky, did you have something else to say about that?
Well, the thought I was having right now is, the repercussions in the family, because I think that was brought up a little while ago. And one of my friends is kind of what we call what is it called? Undercover polyamorous.
Mm-hmm.
He truly believes that this is the way we should be. He loves the lifestyle and what have you, but he can't be open the way we are because his family they're too conservative, and they expect him to get married, have children, have the traditional, what his brothers are all, what they all have kids, they all are married, they all have that. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only son that doesn't have that look. He doesn't have the same thing, and he's kind of pressured by his family. When are you going to get married? When are you going to get a grandchild for me? Blah 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 blah. And he said his biggest fear is his family. Like they're not feeling it. They're not that you can't even talk about it. That shit is like foreign. That's like a foreign language, Chinese. So, but that's who he is. That's who he is. Um, and so I feel that there's like a lot of people who live that way because they can't be open like we are. They can't there's too much pressure from family, coworkers. Some people can't talk about this at work. It's too conservative of a community to be like free.
They may
And
lose their job.
yep, all of that. They may lose their children, to be
Mhm.
honest, if their
Mhm.
divorced husband finds out that they have, multiple men around their kids or whatever, whatever. So,
Mhm.
a lot of people live this way in the closet, as they call
Yes.
it, because it's not like, you know, it's not cool. It's not
Exactly.
cool to say, I date a married, like you date a married man. He's openly, a lot of
Mhm.
people, they're just like, it's not cool. That's just not cool. The values of marriage are a certain kind of way. And every time I say I've dated a married man, I always have to follow up immediately with, oh, his wife was okay with it.
Yes, because
I have
that's
to
the
say
question
that
I always
I
get.
have to say that like the very next sentence, like, oh, I knew
Yes.
her, we were cool, we went out, we hung out, we spent 4th of July together, all of us, it was fun. And then their mind starts going into like loop-de-loop roller coaster.
And literally last week, I had this same conversation with somebody, and polyamory came up, and they were like, who are you dating, and this and that, and I forgot how the conversation came about. Hey, that. Hey, Julie. This is Kevin's wife. So how the conversation came about, and I said, yes, one of my partners is married, and she just looked at me like, oh my God, I can't believe you right now. And I'm like, yes. And I had to follow up quickly with, his wife knows, we are friends. We are cool. We've all hung out. I've hung out with her. We're good. Like, what? She knows? Like, really? Yes, she does. We're cool. We like each other, actually. So it's always interesting to people. Um,
Yeah, folks get derailed.
yes, Julie would like to say something.
Hey guys, it
Hi,
Hey.
Julie.
hey, it had a little bit to do with what Sky was talking about. I think you said something about you were talking about something about the wife knowing or whatever. But I think when I first started dating and when we started this lifestyle, the men always seem to want to keep partners a secret. And
Right.
I said in the beginning, if you are married, your wife needs to know because I'm not a secret. I said, we don't do secrets over here. And the way that we roll is that once I feel that once I vetted you for myself, then I'm going to bring you to my husband. They
Hmm.
never wanted that. They don't want that. They're cool with dating me or they're cool with dating women long as it can be a secret.
Right.
So that seems to always be an issue on the men's side. I
Hmm.
a recent partner, and the first thing I said was, "You're gonna have to tell your wife." Period.
Hmm.
He didn't
Yeah.
have a problem with that, which generally the men that are married generally do. They
Right.
they don't want to tell their wives.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times the wife is not really part of it.
They're not
Like, they're just doing it behind their wife's back.
that part. Well,
That's cheating.
I actually have, this is how I do it. Because I would meet what I call poly fuckers because they're not really poly. They just use the terminology so they can so my whole thing is, look, if you can't spend the night, the entire night, the weekend, and go to breakfast on Sunday or what have you, or you got to get up and leave at 2 a.m. and go back home, this is not going to work. Okay, we're
Hmm.
not doing this because if you can't tell your wife or your girlfriend or your partner, whoever you live with or whatever, that I'm going to be with Sky tonight or this weekend or what have you, then I'm not here for you. I can't do it. I'm not into this. I gotta go. I gotta go back home. I can't be out late. That shit don't work with me. If you don't have permission
That's
or
a red
Right.
freedom,
flag right
huh?
there. That's a red flag right there.
It's not even a red
Exactly.
flag. It's a no flag. It's a zero because
Minus flag.
it's not. There's no. We're not going further. If you can't come over and be a part of my world for one night, for the whole night. I'm talking leave here and go to work.
Uh-huh.
If you can't do that, it's a no-go for me.
Usually there's something that's
Yeah,
being
there's just a
hidden.
no-go. I don't care what the excuse is. I'm not talking on the first time. I'm talking about once things are established.
Right,
I'm
right.
talking about once we're in and we've been dating. And but if you can't start coming over and spending I'm not into this half relationship, middle of the night bullshit. Not at all.
I've come across many men that are like, oh yeah. So there was this particular guy I remember. He was like, oh, because I met him in one of the poly groups. So you assume people, if you're in a poly group, you are poly, right? Now, so started talking to him, and then all of a sudden, he's married and yada yada. But there are specific questions that I'll ask people to kind of just kind of gather if you're telling the truth or not. Because typically I'm like, well, I would definitely want to speak to your wife, before I get involved with you in any kind of ways. And typically they're like, well, so this guy specifically was like, well, my wife is not involved in all that. And I was like, oh, I see. I was gone so fast. Never talked to him again. Never like,
Done.
please, sir, like exit this way because we're not doing this over here. So,
yeah.
But people will try you on that.
I've done that. Yeah.
So
I've done that. I've done that.
But people are quick to put the poly umbrella over their cheating. And it's like, no, that's not what this is. You can go do your cheating. It's just
Somewhere
not
else.
what this is over here. Yeah.
Right.
So I've had people say, oh, I'm very discreet. Oh, good for you. But I'm not looking for your discretion for anything. I'm not to be a secret. Look at me. I mean, I'm not to be a secret.
Why would you want me to be a secret? Look at me.
Right, exactly.
No.
And honestly, I'm always like, oh, so you want to have lunch with me? Can you tell your wife that you will be having lunch with me and maybe the kind of conversations that may be happening between us? See if she's okay with that. And then if she's okay with that, then maybe we'll have a conversation around that. Until then, sir, please get lost,
Yeah.
And another thing too, when you say you are polyamorous, a lot of people think it's free for all. Oh, she's gonna sleep with me, she's gonna do this, she's gonna do that. It's like, did I even show you like that I'm interested in you like that? I mean, I know there are some connections that end up developing later, but I've not shown you any interest. Why do you feel like, oh, just for the mere fact that you say hello to me, I should be like, yes, sir, let me open my legs wide for you. It's just very interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
This poly world is crazy.
Well, can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know if you see a guy, how do you know you want to have sex with him?
When you meet somebody, do you just go to them and be like, oh, so I want to have sex with you? Just like, you don't know this person, you're meeting them the first time. Is that what you do in the real world?
They call me Mr. Busted Wide Open, so
Well, how many yeses have you gotten from that? That's what I want to know.
I say half.
Okay,
Wow.
but here's the thing, though.
Wow.
I tell people you can feel however you want to feel, but I'm not under any obligation to feel the same way you feel about me. You can tell me you want to have sex with me. Okay, that's great. I'm happy for you.
But what I'm
that
saying,
doesn't mean I'm gonna have sex
do
with you. I think you're frozen, Woody.
How do you determine? I mean, you could be poly, and then you could really, really like a guy, but you don't like him like that, and he's poly, you're poly. but you your way, but y'all cool. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
No,
that's
But he
fine.
looking at
You
he looks
can
at
have
I don't get
casual
it.
sex.
you get what I'm saying?
I don't get it.
No, I think you can have casual sex. I mean,
Oh.
it's fine. Yeah, I think he's talking about casual sex.
Oh.
I mean, if you're interested in somebody, you can tell
No,
them,
I
but
mean,
just be
what I'm
prepared.
saying is both of you guys are poly, but
Yeah.
you as the female, you don't look at him, even though you're poly, you don't look at him in that light, like want to have sex with him. But he looks at you that way, right?
Okay.
And he's poly. Y'all, you get what I'm saying? So how do you determine, since you're poly, what is the cutoff point? Like, nah, I don't want, I don't,
You cut off anybody you don't want to be involved with,
If
period.
I'm not interested in you, I'm not interested in you. So
Oh,
just
okay.
be okay. Let's say so you're monogamous, somebody else is monogamous. So because they approach you and they're monogamous, you're supposed to say yes because
That's
they're
the whole
interested in
world.
I
you.
don't know. I'm just asking. I mean, I'm
Your
I'm an
connection
open
is
book.
very poor where you
Trust me, I'm
are.
reading every page. I'm learning as it, huh?
Your connection is kind of poor where you are.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think Fuzzy's wife wants to say something.
Yes.
There are so many variations of what poly looks like. I have 2 partners that I don't have sex with. So just because you're polyamorous doesn't mean that
Thank you for saying
sex
that.
is on the table.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have no interest.
What is the point of them being your part? I'm getting. I thought I was learning, but I'm getting confused I'm getting more and more confused.
What are you confused about?
She just said that she has.
I can answer that. I think because monogamy teaches you that the value of a person is that exclusivity is sexual, right? But polyamory looks at the value of a person being the value of the entirety of that person. So if someone is in my world as a partner, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're in a sexual relationship. I value them, they value me in a partnership of whatever kind we create.
Right.
And I consider them a partner, but we might not ever sleep together. And there's love. It's all love. It's all good.
Okay.
So I actually have a partner like that.
And I've had situations when I was monogamous where I've had female friends that I have never had sex with, and I'm very close to them. And I enjoyed their company, their relationship. I had a relationship with them. It doesn't mean that every time that two opposites attract, even if there's sexual tension, there's some things that I've chose because I know myself that if we go down that line, there will be feelings, and it could change the relationship. And the relationship's more important to me to have where we are, and I have agape love. I have this other type of love for that person.
Yes.
And I can express that, and I don't have to have sex with them.
Exactly. Thank you. Gerald said platonic. Yes, and I actually have somebody, we're gonna call a friend like you, Sky, right? That we are intimate, not intimate in the sense of having sex, right? But this is somebody I can just lay in bed with. We can sleep next to each other. We don't have sex. We can cuddle. We can be there for each other. If I need a hug, if I need to be held, like that person is there for me, and vice versa. Now, if I were to be monogamous and was with somebody, they would deem that not okay because he's the opposite sex. And how can you cuddle, genital parts are probably touching, or that kind of stuff. How can you do that? Because it's not normal.
Right.
Not everything has to lead to sex.
Someone, Howard Henry, wants to join this conversation.
Okay. He needs to. I for some reason I can't chat back. If somebody can share the link with him, he can join in. And I think Gerald.
Let me see if I can. Me,
Gerald asked a question. How about the safety aspect of things if the relationship progresses to sex? Again, that's another conversation that you have with people. Those are conversations that happen up front. For me, hey, if we choose to be involved with each other, this is what I ask for. We're gonna get tested, and this is the list of things that I like to for us to get tested for, and then we sit down and talk about it, whatever it might be. Those are conversations that you have, because you must have it, because you got to know what your boundaries are.
What's
You
going
got to know
on?
what, yeah, you got to know what's going on. You got to know what you're willing to deal with. Some people are still okay sleeping with somebody who's HIV positive but is undetectable, with protection. They're fine with that. Yes, sir. um
Is that
Undetectable,
a
that
sound
means
effect? I
you
heard a
know
sound effect.
I know, right? So that means the person is taking regular medication, and undetectable means like technically they cannot pass it on to you, right? But you can still choose to use protection with that person. I mean, there's like so much. Like I said, this podcast, we're going to talk about a whole lot of different things to go in depth with some subjects, because certain things you can't just like throw out there and then be done with it. So there's got to be more conversations about them. So
I'm gonna
it's
put
up to you.
I'm gonna put the link on your Facebook page for that person.
Okay.
I'm
To
gonna put it
join.
in the
Thank you.
comment.
For some reason it's not letting me post comments. Let's see. Facebook group read.
All right. I just posted the comments.
Okay. You're welcome, Gerald.
All right. Where are we here?
Thank you for participating, Gerald. I know you didn't come on screen, but you are definitely giving us some great inputs.
Nuggets, golden nuggets. So maybe that person, Howard Henry, wants to jump in.
All right, let's see.
I
I
have some questions for whoever is still on here. Um,
Yes.
I want to know how many people are really
Woody, we're
interested.
gonna take you off to make room for the other
Go ahead.
people.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much for
Great.
participating.
All
All
right. Enjoy,
right.
guys.
See
Okay,
you,
you
Woody.
too.
All right.
Um, I want to know how many people in the listening audience is poly or interested in poly living, poly loving, or is completely turned off by this. I'm almost assuming that if they're turned off, they're probably not really here. They're
Right.
probably they're probably not really interested in this conversation, but I'd be curious.
Yes.
So
We're gonna wait. And while we're waiting, I wanted to share this little tidbit.
Juan is poly. Okay.
One is Polly. Okay. Nice. Recently, because I told you I had a couple of shows with my friend Reggie on his platform, and somebody messaged me recently and said thank you for putting the word out there and having those conversations, because now my wife and I are considering polyamory, because we realized that we were just following societal norms
Yeah.
and we were truly happy. So now we're gonna try to do the work and see what that looks like for us. He's like, we don't know what the future holds right now, but we just know that at least we are open to exploring the possibilities. And it just made my heart so happy that, even though we don't have like a very broad audience, right? But at least, and like I said, I'm not here to convert anybody, but I am
I
happy
am.
that that person that person, was able to find um that, oh, it makes sense now. Now they can truly understand how they were feeling, and then to start doing the work that it requires to start the journey. So yes, We have Javelin that said she's interested. All right. Would you like to come on screen and talk a little bit, Javelin, or are you too shy for that
Howard
yet?
Henry said he's trying to get in. Do you see him?
No, he's not. He's not on my list right now. Nope, he's not on the
Is
list.
there too many people? Because
Nope, nope.
if
We're not
no,
even many people on here right now in the thing.
oh,
He just has to click on it. Um, Tell him to send me a private chat and see, maybe send a message in the private chat, because that's what I did with Woody. He wanted to get in. I sent the link in the private chat and he was able to just click on it. So I'm not sure.
cool.
Javelin, what are you wanting to do as far as your interests? Are you trying to live as a polyamorous? Would you like to join a community? I mean, we do have some group recommendations where you could try to find some information. In the meantime, Google is going to be your best friend. And I like to recommend certain books that I've read that have helped me, but also some self-help books, or how to relate to people in general rather than just polyamory itself, that will help you in your journey on how to understand certain emotions and how to live life in general, really. Okay, she said not today, but definitely reach out. I'm always open. Oh my God, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna have to
yes.
go soon. But this is what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say. Um, like we've been talking about the pros, but there are a couple cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
As in anything. And for me, one thing that I've experienced that has been a negative has been the fact that, and this is also partly because I'm open to parts of a person. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like I'll take what I can get from that person in essence because I like them so much, I'm attracted to them, what have you. So if they're able to give me a slice of them, then that's fine, right? However, if I'm able to get 5% of them, right, there
Mm-hmm.
could be a potential for part of them to not be cool. There could be some ways about them that are not acceptable. And I realize that my experience in dealing with like folks in this lifestyle is, you know, it has to add up. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I'll use an example to make it a little bit more clear. Um, I was dating a guy for about a year, almost a year, and was so, I mean, we got along so well. I mean, he was like so friggin' cool, right? I mean, we had a
Mm-hmm.
great friggin' time all the time. But there were parts of him that he really didn't want to reveal to me, which I was like, I don't understand, right? You're coming to my house, you met my children, you know where I work, you know my life. You know what I mean? You know my life. I'm open because this is what you do in a relationship. This is
Mm-hmm.
part of where I am. I knew where he lived. I had never been to his house um in the whole time we were dating. He did have another partner who I actually ended up meeting. So he wasn't hiding that. He wasn't like he was married or some secret life, but he was hiding what he did for a living. I had no idea. I thought it was something illegal the whole time. I still do. I still do because I don't know what it is. And I'm feeling like you can't say what you do or how you make money or what have you. I mean, even maybe you're independently wealthy. I have no idea, but I had no idea. And not knowing bothered me. And I really tried to work through it. And I would, we made jokes like, oh, he's a Russian spy or blah, blah, blah. But, after a while, I was like, this is some bullshit. Because I mean, and then the funny thing is, like, people would meet him or talk to a friend about him, and they would go, what does he do for a living? What does he do? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what he does, you know? And it at some point it dawned on me that it does bother me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Right.
basic first date conversation answer. You know what I
Right.
mean? This is,
Right.
and the fact that you can jump over it and keep going. And then I'm still sitting here like I'm waiting for the day for you to tell me, how do you survive out here? How do you live?
Right.
What is it
Yeah.
that you do? Because at this point, you not giving me this information is going to, is a potential safety hazard for my home, my children, my life. Because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the fuck you're involved in. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what the hell you do. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Me not knowing makes me not safe in judging you on according to you being in my space, my home, etc.
I can see
So
that.
yeah, so eventually it took a long time because I really like had to process like the pros and the cons of being involved, and all of the good was not good enough for those basic things. And I was just
Right.
so stupid. I was just so disappointed in something like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, and one thing about like poly, and this could have been a monogamous situation too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily like poly. This is not a poly concern, but it does for me. It was because it's like, you're open to me about your partner. You're open to me about like other things, but not this. I just thought it was really whack. And I even talked to her and I said, "Are you okay with not knowing what he does? Are you okay with not ever going to his place?" And she basically said, "Well, as long as he don't ask me for money, we're good." And I was
Okay.
like, "Yeah, that's not enough for me."
That would not be enough for me because I like my mind would just go to what if he is a drug lord and
That
then I'm putting myself in danger by being with him. I mean, I'm not saying he can be a drug lord and let me know, oh, this is what I do for a living, but for my safety, like I would feel more comfortable knowing what you do. But if you're hiding that basic part to me, it's it's questionable.
Yeah, there's a whole big message from Howard. I think he was trying to get on, but I guess he typed it in.
Okay. I love the knowledge you guys are passing on tonight. I hope to join you guys someday on this platform. Is there a place where we Caribbean men commit beautiful queens like you? I was brought up in a polyamorous family, but it's difficult to find what I'm looking for. Well,
I
thank
know
you, Howard.
I have a thought about that. So most of the men that I meet out here who are looking for polyamorous women, they don't want their women to be involved with other men. They want either them to be with other women or them only, the one penis policy.
Right.
Um, yeah, but there's a lot of poly women who are looking for partners for sure in those groups.
Yes.
They are thick in there. Okay, Cupid.
Yes.
What
Okay,
have you.
Cupid, I find is a good place because you can tell from the get go if that
Yes.
person, says non monogamy on their profile. Because I think that's very important. That's gonna depend, for me to swipe left or swipe right. If it doesn't say non monogamy, I'm definitely not swiping right because I don't have time. I'm not at that stage right now where I want to entertain non
The
monogamous folks
bullshit.
at all. No. I'm not here to teach anybody either. I know that sounds selfish, but you can
No,
do
I
the work
agree.
yourself. I'm just like, I don't have the energy in me right now for any newbies. As far as somebody that I'm about to date. Now, I will educate you all day long. If you're a friend, if we're talking, you want to know things, I'm here for you. But somebody that I'm gonna be dating, yes, no, you cannot be a newbie. So, um,
Not interested.
exactly. He said, I clearly understand what you're saying. I'm okay. I love it. I love seeing my lady happy. Thank you, Howard. I wanted to let you guys know, please follow. I'm starting this whole poly thing the YouTube channel, the Instagram page. I don't have a Facebook page for the poly thing, but whatever I post on my Instagram carries over to my Facebook profile. So please make sure you follow me. Pay attention because it's a lot. Follow my personal page, Air Meet Mitou Charles on Facebook if you haven't yet. And then I am on IG as Poly Haitian Hottie. Poly Haitian Hottie, the only Haitian
Honey,
hottie in town.
honey, honey.
Yes. And then on YouTube, please go and subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends because we're gonna have a lot of good information. And then my podcast, I have not decided yet how often I'm gonna do it, but after today, we're gonna have another one next Wednesday again at 9 p.m. If the time changes, I will let you guys know. So make sure to follow on IG, subscribe on YouTube, like my page on Facebook, and follow me on Facebook to stay in the loop. And we can continue having those conversations. I'm not necessarily a teacher, but I can share my life experiences with you and share what I know about polyamory because we all have something to bring to the table. I want to thank Sky for being my amazing guest tonight, and I could not think of any other perfect fit than you for tonight. So thank you
Cool.
for sharing this stage.
Well, invite me
with
again.
me.
I want to do it again.
Absolutely. We
I
will
can talk
have to
about
do
poly
this again.
all day.
All day long, girl.
All day long.
That's something Jay always said about us. He's like, oh, both of you guys, jeez, it's like you guys are advocates. You're so strong about polyamory and this and that. I'm like, well, we should be.
Yeah.
So
this is it.
Yes, that's the way for me. That's the way of life. So thank you all of you guys who participated, who were on here. Keep up with us, and then we're gonna bring you some great conversations and all the other subjects we will address, but we'll do one at a time so we can go in depth with everything that you want to know about polyamory. Thank you again, and you guys have a good night.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye.
Good night.